Hello, my dear story listeners. Today's story is the Indian Cupid, the god and goddess of eternal love. Manmatha and Rati were a lovely couple. Their affection for each other blossomed visibly during the spring season, and their compassions during flowers, birds, cuckoos, parrots, honeybees, and lush green trees. One day, Manmatha's father, Vishnu, summoned him to his abode and said, I have a difficult task for you. You are the only god with the ability to wake Shiva from his stupor. Once you do that, he will open his eyes and see the beautiful Parvati. As you are the god of love, you must use the power of your gentle arrows to make him fall in love with her. An alarmed Manmatha replied, Dear father, you are asking me to play with fire? Shiva is no ordinary god. He is the lord of destruction. His temper is fearsome. And you know what will happen if he opens his fiery third eye. Didn't you see his Tandav Nritya after Dakshayani jumped into fire? Even you couldn't pacify him, and Lord Brahma just about managed to calm him down before he destroyed the whole world. So, how do you think I can withstand his wrath? I fear this will be the end of me. Please let me go. Vishnu then said sternly, Manmatha, there's no denying that Shiva can be furious, but don't forget that he is also exceptionally kind. He forgave his father in law and brought him back to life. He is the only God who grants boons to his devotees, irrespective of the cost to himself. That's how much his followers mean to him. Even if something unfortunate were to happen, trust me, he'll be the first to save you. This is no ordinary task. The fate of the world rests on it. But Manmatha and Rati were still hesitant. It is your duty, insisted Vishnu. Tarka has become such a huge menace that nobody wants to challenge him. The world is suffering, Manmatha, and if you don't make Shiva fall in love with Parvati, he will neither marry her nor produce the son fated to bring about Tarka's death. The Asura will continue to torment every living being, and you will be the only one responsible for it. Manmatha understood that he had no choice in matter. He reluctantly made his way to Mount Kailash with Rati. There they saw Parvati gazing lovingly at Shiva, who was deep in meditation, unaware of her presence. Manmatha got to work. He called upon all of his companions for help, which included his vehicle, a parrot, a swarm of humming honeybees, and Vasanta, the god of spring. Within minutes, the cold and harsh mountain Kailash was transformed into a magical land in springtime. The ice melted and streams of cool blue water began to flow melodically. The forest covered leaves changed to a brilliant reddish green that shone in the light of the sun as the birds started chirping and singing. The air was filled with a heady fragrance as birds bloomed into brightly colored flowers. The whole scene was perfect for some romance. But nothing happened. Shiva remained oblivious to his surroundings. Rati and Manmatha didn't give up that easily. Being accomplished dancers, they put up an enthralling performance in front of motionless Shiva. He still didn't stir. Parvati, on the other hand, was enchanted by the beauty of the setting. She prayed fervently to Shiva to open his eyes. Days went by with no luck. Manmatha became increasingly restless. None of his schemes were working. A last resort, he picked up his bow of sugar cane and five flowered arrows. Each arrow was tipped with a different kind of flower: white lotus, blue lotus, jasmine, mango blossom, and a flower from the Ashoka tree. These arrows were so potent that the slightest contact with any of them was enough for most to immediately fall madly in love with the nearest person. Manmatha shot Shiva with all five arrows at once, which gently touched the god and fell to the ground. Shiva's eyes fluttered open. He started ahead without blinking, his eyes burning with incandescent rage. Who dares disturb my penance? He thought. And then he saw Manmatha, who smiled at him in the hope of a friendly response. As Shiva was silent, Manmatha assumed that his arrows had begun to work their magic. However, the smile on Manmatha's face only incensed Shiva further, and so his third eye opened. It is said to be the only instance of Shiva opening his third eye. Manmatha was reduced to a heap of ash within seconds. The sight of the steaming mound calmed Shiva down, and he closed his third eye. Then he simply stood up and walked away, noticing neither Parvati nor Rati. He was frustrated by his inability to concentrate and returned to his meditation. His penance was over, and poor Manmatha, the handsome god of love, had sacrificed his life for nothing. Rati fell to the ground almost faint with grief. Sobbing, she cried out, "Oh, my dear husband, we are meant to be inseparable. How can I go on without you? Why didn't Shiva turn me to ashes too?" Parvati ran to Rati to console her the best she could. She was filled with intense, mixed emotions herself. She was distressed and painted by Manmatha's fate, for he had died trying to help her. She was also insulted by the fact that Shiva had not even noticed her presence despite her devotion. She made up her mind: I am not going to chase Shiva anymore. One day he will come to me on his own, and until then I will perform penance. Having decided her course of action, she left Mount Kailash. Devastated and helpless, Rati prayed to Vishnu, Father, you said that you would support and guide us. We need you know. Vishnu immediately appeared in front of Rati, shocked and dejected by the turn of events. Don't worry, my daughter, he said, I will revive Manmatha. Though he will no longer possess the human form, he will arise in the thoughts of people, and you will remain inseparable. Whoever thinks about love will inevitably invoke you and Manmatha. He will henceforth be known as Manoj, the one who emerges from the mind, or Ananga, the one without a body. The whole world will remember both your sacrifices. This incident, the burning of Manmatha, is associated with Holi, which is usually followed by a light drizzle the next day. The rain is believed to be made up of the tears and that Rati shed on the loss of her husband. This was the whole story, and it was a very beautiful story. Thank you. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you. Thank you, dear friends.